Welcome to my journey onto social media. Welcome to all my new subscribers. I think I'm about ready for a next wave of subscribers. The last time I had a bunch of subscribers come to my channel, it was on the subject of human trafficking, where I had 1 million views in 8 days. Quite an explosive response. I know quite a bit about it. I am still planning on doing some of those videos. I had talked to our local sheriff and stuff about making some informative videos and kind of talking about that. But this time it's going to be on the subject of child abuse, trauma, misandry, part of my story. I always knew this subject was going to come up, and I just want to kind of reiterate something of importance that was in the last video, and that was, 8 years ago, I had bought the Maya Angelou book, Why the Caged Bird Sings. I bought that because I wanted to understand her thought process. When she had wrote a book and talked about her uncle molesting her, the response caused a mob of people to unalive him. A response she didn't want, and the pen is always mightier than the sword. That should be your major takeaway from the last 40-minute video. And I am prepared and ready to talk about the situation, but I have known that I have to approach this very carefully. I think I did that in the last video quite thoroughly. You have to understand the situation. The takeaway from what I've just all said is my perspective is very, very unique on the situation. Now, most of that is genetics. Luckily, not genetics from my estranged mother, but my abundant personality is very much her trait. That family, I think it was either Jane Fonda or there was a couple of them. I can't think of their name, but they just suck the life right out of the energy when they walk in a room. I don't see it that way, but when my family on my mother's side walked into a room, they filled it. Their personality did not go unnoticed. I have known through my whole life, I don't know if I have a different lung capacity or something is different about the way I talk, but people are very, in this cancel culture, no offense, snowflake response, I have noticed people's reaction to me is more Karen-like. Anyhow, that is working in my favor to tell my story. The genetics from my dad and some of my other family, sort of thinkers, a lot, overthinkers. I take after my grandfather on my dad's side, apparently with that, who was actually asked to run in the Republican Party when he was younger. Some newspaper articles, blah, blah, blah. So I have some confidence on both sides. Good genes. I'm very happy about my genetic structure of the lottery of that. When you read my second book, you're going to understand that a lot clearer. So, I'm going to do a lot of these drone-on videos. This is getting to know me. This is finding out who I am. This is going to be a lot of this channel. I am still working on these 13 channels, wigs and costumes and set design, and I am in the middle of the process. There's a long story. I had started a remodel on my house. I lost my job. I'm fully disabled. I'm having a lot of problems. Some of it is mental, but I'm coming out of that. My third trauma, it's a whole other situation. I don't want to get into that can of worms. I'm where I need to be at this time, and I'm fine with that. But those who look upon me that don't know me, just know I haven't been able to work the last couple of years. I got financial help, about $5,000 to fix my house. Yesterday I was to go shopping. So I made my final list. I updated the prices with lumber increases and this and that have happened. And I come up with about $9,500. And I just kind of mentally shut down. I wasn't sure how I was going to cut that back to $5,000. The whole thing, the process of getting my house done, and so I can sort of move on all this enterprise and the books and everything, I have to have a place. Behind this screen is full-on construction, what I'm proud of, but I can't get to the next stage because I'm in this process of this remodel. Even my kitchen is set design for my 1800s Jezebel Gypsy Kitchen cooking channel, which I'm going to talk about my eating disorders. I have lots of them. Some things it's remarkable that I'm alive, and I'm as much of a snowflake as you can get as far as what my body is capable of doing. My mouth and my mind and what my body want to do are not matching up and haven't, and I'm slipping away from being able to keep those matched up with the help of pharmaceutical, with medicinal, with energy drinks, sleep. I'm losing the battle. But here is still wanting to do all the things. By the way, I will turn 49 in just days. We'll just leave it there. I got overwhelmed and I shut down yesterday. An hour before I was supposed to go meet up and do the shopping, and I just went to bed. And that is my PTSD. It just shuts down when I get overwhelmed quickly. And that's just one of the many things. This process with my estranged mother, I'll kind of talk about some of that. Again, talked about it extensively in the 40-minute video. It's bad. It's bad. It's all bad. Unfortunately, there's going to be such little good in it. And I feel bad that my estranged mother would ever have to hear those words. She knows she created that situation for me. I didn't make that situation happen for myself. And I feel bad that she feels bad, or should, as she has strangely let herself envision it something different. And I just know the situation. I'm going to step by step explain. It's going to make her hurt more. But always know that if you ever listen and you know these words, if you should ever hear this, I understand you enough to excuse you. I don't want harm. I don't want unhappiness for you. But with that excuse, you are excused out of my life. The born to be a mama's boy has to say to his estranged mother, you have been excused. I am at that freedom of my life. I'm on the precipice of such change. I couldn't be more thrilled, but I'm also terrified inside. I've been terrified of success. I know what the success means in this enterprise, in these books. I've crunched the numbers. It's going to change my life and everyone around me in ways. And you'd say, well, do it. Get there. Do it. Be done with it. I can never go back to where I am now. I don't think people understand. I have been paralyzed from growth at every stage of my life until now. I am only free to live now. Free to live without bounds, without restraints, from out of a timeline, from being locked in, from being in a conscious coma, a word I've used often. This is my first time. And coincidentally, I was 18. I knew I was going to write an autobiography, and I knew that I had to wait till I was 40 to do it. My 39th and a half birthday, the most traumatic thing to ever happen to me, happened, and it was as if I had waited for that event to happen because of what it did in this 10 years that followed to bring me to where I am today. And now I see the universe parting the ways and clearing the path that is undescribably, I have to acknowledge, I have no words, even though I have experience to use words. They're not the same. It is not of God. It's the universe has cleared the path and has said, you're doing and we're clearing the path. I don't have the words. But I recognize and I see what's happening. Because things are too, I don't want to get into it in this video. It's remarkable. There are things that are incredibly remarkable about my path and my journey. This channel is going to bring me to where this. Let's go to. I'm 12 minutes into the video, and let's go to what this video is about. In that 39 and a half year of my life, when the worst thing that ever happened to my life, paralyzed state for a decade this year, the last 3.5 years I've been waking up. But in the last 18 months, this one book has become 4 and now an enterprise of film and music. And in the backgrounds as I make this money, and probably in 2 years, I hope to be working on donations and open the nonprofit to funding, because I have a bigger purpose. Only because of 2 things. 39 and a half, waking up, how I got through that, which I'm going to get. It's the most important soon here in a minute. So here I am. Over a dozen YouTube channels I'm trying to create, all working together in this tangled craziness to reach a broad audience, to tackle different areas, understanding my life and all of its complexities, all working together, and then in building, and then in a year coming together to start to bring the process together. All driving book sales to build a nonprofit. I have the next 10 years of my life planned out, and I'm hoping to find someone to take that journey with me. We'll talk about the relationship situation and what my sexuality is in another video. On the first year in 2011, in the summer, I bought a laptop, and I wasn't allowed to go home for 7 months. as the trauma unfolded, it didn't end up being just one event. That's another story. I found myself on YouTube. Corey Williams, just 2 days before his trip to Alaska, I caught him and Kristen on their road trip up there to live and watched every single video until they moved to Oklahoma here recently, and they've sort of turned into a family children's channel, and I've always wanted children, and so for me to watch family channels with kids and stuff can be a little bit complex and hard and difficult for me to register, and that's another video. They were the only thing that connected me to the outside world. I don't want to talk about how dark and how isolating and what all happened in that first few years. Disintegrated and liquefied my existence, essentially. And I didn't lose every single person. And there's a journey back. The child abuse did not make any of that easier. If anything, another video. I then started following Roman Atwood and then many others, and then got sucked into Team 10 and Jake Paul and Logan Paul and understood situations and them. And I all these eras in my life kept me from growing. And now I'm allowed to grow, and I think that's why all those who are around me, who I've worked with, my energy, my thoughts, my looks, everything, that's why I don't seem older. And I thought my process through life and bringing me to where I'm at, I could be more of an influence. That's part of the reason why I am enjoying this, wanting to make videos, is because I wanted to make people inspired that they're never too old to live and to keep going. And now, as I'm deep into the very ending of now writing, because the 4 books, just like I said, when I divided them up, it all made much more sense, and the second book is really my baby. Maybe I'm unfairly advantaged because of all the trauma, and that's why I'm so inspired. I don't know. Like I said, my family, when they walk in their room, there's this presence. There's some of that too, but all of it will make more sense, I think, in the second book, and maybe even more sense to myself as it's formally written. From someone who's journaled since I was in the 7th grade, seeing the process of your own mind in front of you on paper helps you process through, and you see with clarity, which is, it's going to be a process getting through the 4 books. I will be talking a lot about what has happened to me. I want you to understand my goal, and I've mentioned about the world famous in another video. I will succeed with that, no matter how tiny it is a project. I will succeed. Back on track. How did I get onto YouTube? I've set the path. I've been watching for 10 years. All these YouTubers. I have over 200 people I subscribe to. Now that I've created all the other YouTube channels, I'm following a bunch of other people. Again, I won't be posting videos on some of those till probably December. I'm going to create a couple more with the music channels next year, or my music journey too. I'm overwhelmed with the house project. Gonna go slower. It's now August. I live in Minnesota. Winter will be here very shortly, and I'm struggling. All these steps as a slow process. I'm hoping I can get a job in a couple months, but it's 2 days a week. That's it. That's all I can work. I can't. I'm not capable of doing it anymore. Making YouTube videos and kind of doing this at home, I can pinch in sanity enough to make a video and energy and time it and put it out. It is, in a way, the most perfect for me. Between my creativity in this process, the 10 years of watching, tying all this video up and making sense of it now, I didn't realize I was learning the process while watching for 10 years. And then the book that I've been working on, and then it turned into 4, and then I started seeing each one of these books taking on its own definition, its own takeaway, its own attitude, feelings. They go from fiction to nonfiction to fiction, ish, both. There's a lot in each book, but will be written in a literary way. It just made sense to make YouTube videos. But I will be making them in my own attitude. I do not copy. I am an original. And that has to do with my childhood. I wasn't allowed to have friends. We moved around. I must have changed schools 12 times. It was a disaster, you all. On top of knowing that your only safe place was at school, because the minute you got home, it was just screaming and yelling, and I hate you, and I'd wish you died. That's like, and of course, as I got older, she worked, so I didn't see her but on the weekends, or in the rare occasion she was off, and then it wasn't like she got up to make us breakfast, and it was, I don't want to see you, I don't want to hear you, always. So hiding, I got good at hiding, and I never fit in because I wasn't, what does fitting in mean as a kid? You know nothing. You're to be taught all of it, and I wasn't taught nothing. And every school just, I was a weird kid, but nobody was figuring out what was going on at the house, and I didn't know things were different at my house to anybody else's because of parental manipulation. I was raised by my mother, who left my dad before I was a year old, and it just, another story, another video, a series of 4 books. I'm going to just kind of wrap this up, just making another video because I'm getting a lot of followers. There's a lot of you coming from TikTok. I just kind of wanted to tell you guys what's happening. What you're seeing here with me is something you may never see again with another person because of everything that I plan on doing. And if you're, I was going to say if you're this or that, but you are all going to learn from me if you can get through the cringe factor. Because I know how I can come across with stuff, and so that ties me up. What do I plan on doing on this? A lot. Many layers, many things, all over, lots of different people. But I am going to be the saddest YouTuber on here. That doesn't mean the most pathetic. That doesn't mean the grossest or most, that you just don't, I don't want to hear anymore. It's not that. If you can pause for a minute and think, many sculptures, poetry, songs, all this written in a state of sadness, of overwhelmed, of brokenness, of wanting to die, or this or that. Many, 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 many of the most famous of all. And we all know this. So I'm going to try to make an art out of my sadness. And I think that I can do that. This channel is that journey. The highs, the lows, the pathetic, the didn't go well channel. I invested over $1,000 in video editing software add-ons in December and January. I have yet to figure them all out. If I wanted to get, I can't even think of that, teaching program, it's like $1,000. You pay, you get all the classes. I don't have that money. Like, I live on $1,200 a month. Like, it's not. It's a slow process. Like, this mic took me a year, just about a year, to get all the pieces. And that majority was because of those stimulus checks we got during the pandemic. That's pretty much went there, and the video editing software add-ons. Otherwise, I wouldn't have that either. There's so much I got to do and so much I'm going to do, and I'm a little frantic because I'm 49 and I wish I had $10,000 today and another $100,000 over the next 2 years to pay for everything, just the film production, cameras and this and that and all that is 100. I would love to have 100,000. We'll see how the YouTube. I'm going to invest it all back into here. Like, I have the show must go on. I don't care what the pace. I don't care the ridicule. I don't care the haters. I don't care. I've been working on this for 30 years. Ain't nobody gonna. Paralyzed state. Couldn't grow till now. You think you're gonna frickin' bother me right now? Ha! You think you can hurt me? Ha! It's not gonna happen. The show will go on at any process, and I think once I can get more stuff out, because my videos are getting better, the attitude. I think I'm going to start talking. I'm finding a new footing. I experimented a lot. I've got a lot of videos down there. I didn't know what I was going to do. I still don't know what they're going to look like on any of them. I have an idea. But like my 7-foot goat man costume is going to probably cost me $1,000 by the time I get the epoxy feet, the hairy animal legs, the Willy Wonka circus jacket, the goat horns that I feel right, the wig that's going to go under all that, all the character, the corsets I'm going to be building for many of the channels, and the Southern Cotillion women, if you dig or whatever, if you come here from my TikTok, all the channels are listed in there somewhere. You all can find them if you're interested. There isn't much posted. Most of them, there isn't anything posted. They're placeholders. I have completely changed my filing system, my cabinets in my house. I'm setting myself on the path for the next 10, 20 years, the rest of my life, doing this project, this enterprise. It's where I'm going to be. It's what I'm going to be doing. My organization in my filing system reflects that. And I had to put placeholders everywhere, so as I'm thinking through the day, there are so many pieces. And I'm just a one-man show right now until hopefully a year from me starting to post videos and I start to see a little income, then I'm going to hire staff. Because I'm going to need some help with the it's only going to get bigger. It's obviously, you need to hire people if you're going to create an enterprise. It's not a one-man show. There's too much. envision in 10 years having 50 to 100 employees. You loosely use the term employees, but that's not an understanding to be pointed out in this video. I know what I'm doing. The show will go on no matter how slow the process. I'm just breathing life into it. I'm at that age, not chasing tail and money, I'm leaving the legacy I've been working on my whole life, with no recognition, with no samplings, just for me to give to you later, much later, which is now. And many things came into that pathway that then just become part of the lesson. And that's the cool thing about perspective. We're all just hurling on this big ball of dirt and water through space at an unbelievable rate of time. Our ancestors, from the very beginning of civilization, were just trying to make sense of it without the tools we have now. They did their best, but they failed miserably. And the toxins of religion. It's funny, there's a lot of parables in the Bible, and the whole house built on sand is exactly what the church did to our society. But the church was everything then. They were one government. They had it wrong. And the internet and the truth, that's all just kind of, I want to say falling apart, but enlightening us now. And I'm going to bring some different clarity, some different approaches. The second book is called The Tornado in the Garden of Eden. We'll tackle that then. That was a process for me on my own, a 3-year journey that ended a year or so ago. So you can't shove stuff down people's throat. You just have to share the journey of understanding. Mine's just going to be in a little bit of a different way. I'm talking to a broader audience, broader faiths, regions of the world, but it all speaks the same to everyone. And I'll get to that in another video. So I think I'm going to go ahead and tie this up. I want to thank all the new subscribers or anyone watching this video. If you've seen it all the way through, I'm be surprised because the analytics on the, I didn't say it right the second time, but anyhow, aren't showing many of you are watching till the end. I understand. I do drone on. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. In fact, few of you, honestly. I'm going to gain a lot of you because of sympathy. I'm going to lose a lot of you shortly after because you can't. It's just not, you're not going to see me through. But you came, you saw, you went. You'll hear my name later. I thank you all who have taken an interest. There's a lot I'm going to teach. The revenge of it all. What I wish would have happened. How different I think. Had I had the soulless, heartless, revengeful desire and would have been able to live with myself, how I wish things would have turned for my enemies. That's in the 4th book, called Tornado's Revenge. The third one is Twisted Tornado. The twisted side of what I've seen in our reality, specifically my town. Anyhow, I'm going to go. Thank you for coming. And I really encourage you to hang out. Hang on. Keep me subscribed. Even if you don't watch, come back in 6 months and say, well, let's see what that crazy guy has got going on now. I have many videos have already been taped. I've got one for Ollie, the literary artist. I have a really cool video that I want to put out there. Each of my channels is to give you a different vibe, a different attitude. And it's a way for me to get in touch with all the different parts of my life and teach you something about being able to do that, compartmentalizing your own life. Another video, another topic someday about compartmentalizing your life. We all do it, it's just showing it more directly to you. Anyhow, that's all I got for today. I'll be back again. Talk to you guys later.